Hello and welcome back to this channel. So in today's tutorial, we're going to try and draw some kiwi fruits in Adobe Fresco. So let's just get started. I'm going to go into custom size and go to print, and I'm going to use the small postcard. By the way, if the small postcard is not in landscape mode, you can click on this tiny arrow next to it and switch to landscape. You should be able to see that option right there. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and click on this. All right, so let's bring in our color palette and the sketch. The sketch is pretty simple. You don't really need it. But I provide sketch for all my tutorials, so you'll find them in the description box below, or the link to download them in the description box below. So click on your images, go to photos. Let's click on the color palette and bring in the color palette. I'm going to increase the size so that it's easy to pick colors. Click on done. Now click and hold on the color so that you get this icon, and now you have the color selected. So we're just going to go ahead and make a mark on our artboard. Doesn't matter which brush you're on. The only reason we are doing this is so that it shows up in the recents tab of your palette. So let's go ahead and do that for all the colors. So once you're done, you'll see all the colors in your recents. And now I'm going to go ahead and hide this and hide the color palette as well. So let's go ahead and bring the sketch now. Click on the images again, photos, click on your sketch, and then you have your sketch ready and click on done. Let's go to the levels. Make sure you reduce the opacity to as low as you want and click on multiply. And click on that again so that it goes away. Okay, so let's start painting. So I'm going to go ahead and go below the sketch layer. Click on a new layer, and now we're going to start with drawing the kiwi fruits. So I'm going to go into my selection tool here and make sure you're in the lasso tool. That's the first one. That's the freehand selection. And I'm going to go ahead and choose this particular kiwi here. By the way, with the lasso tool, you should know that if you lift your pencil, you can go back and start from that particular point like this. I'm going to go out and go ahead and join back in so that only this kiwi gets selected. So let's go to a watercolor brush. I'm going to go to watercolor brush. In here, I'm going to choose watercolor wash flat. And let me quickly show you the settings for this. I'm going to keep my settings for watercolor wash at 317. You can keep it bigger as well, but that's okay. You don't have to keep 317 exactly. Somewhere around that number would be okay. And the flow, I've kept it at 64, but I think I want to change it to about 90s so that it's all nice and bright. Let's check it out, how it turns out. And the water flow is set to 100. And now let's go ahead and choose the color. I'm going to choose this. Let me bring this like this. Okay, the dark green that I have. I'm going to add it to the corner like this and somewhere around this part as well. Oops, not in the center. So I'm going to undo it using my 2-finger tap and just draw like that. And maybe draw in like this. Okay, and now let's go ahead and choose the darker green, but not the lightest one. So I'm going to choose that and add it over here as well so that it's kind of merges. And if you have these white patches, don't bother too much. It's okay if you don't have to really cover it up or something. And now I'm going to choose the lighter green and add a bit here, but notice I'm not covering the whole thing. I'm going to leave some white space here and add a bit here as well so that it gets completely covered. So once you're done with that, we're going to go ahead and draw the outer rim, that is the skin. I don't know why anybody would cut a kiwi with their skin. I like to eat it without the skin. I hope there's no one here who eats with skin on. If you're one of those people who eats kiwi with the skin, let me know in the comments below, why do you do that? Okay, so once you have that, you can go ahead to click on more and click on Invert Selection. So what this does is now everything except this kiwi is selected, and we want exactly that. Now I'm going to go ahead and choose the lighter brown and change my brush here to watercolor round detail. So my brush setting are at the detail setting. That's the size is at 40, and I've kept the water flow at 84, and the flow is kept at 27. The reason it's at 27 is because I don't want it to be too watery, like going everywhere. So I kept it really low water flow settings. Okay, and let's go ahead and draw this. So you just have to draw like this. Let's fill in this area, and don't worry about drawing here because it's not going to show up. It's not selected. There's a bit of extra thing here. I'm going to go to the eraser and make sure that you erase it off, and I'll use the brush again so that it doesn't have that crispy edge. Okay, and then let's go to this dark brown or dark, it's almost black, And I'm going to add some here and there so that it kind of blends and creates this nice color. And I'm pressing my brush a lot so that there's thicker bouts of color coming out. Okay, so once you have that, let's go back to our brown. That's the dark brown. Okay, we'll use this brown now, and I'm going to go ahead here and I'll just click and drag the brush. That's too thick, see? Drag the brush in angles, and it can be in any angle, as you can see. Let me make it more evident here. I'm just going to drag it so lightly. I'm not pressing and dragging, by the way. I'm just dragging in so lightly, and I'm making it in all directions. Like, I'm not particularly following one direction. So I'm just trying to draw, just do it slowly so that you can see it like that. And I'm going to draw that all over this kiwi right here. Okay, so I think that's fine. I'm going to uncheck the sketch to see how it's coming up. And you can see this is the edge that it has created, and that's exactly what we want. You can make a thinner skin as well, because I think this skin has come out as really thick. Kiwi usually doesn't have this thick skin, right? Because it's so hard to peel it. So yeah, I would really suggest you make a thinner, you know, peel. But it's okay. We're just experimenting, so it's fine. So let's go ahead and uncheck that. Check that back in so that we have the sketch. Now the only thing left to do is to make the seeds, and by the way, I've already provided the sketch, so you can just trace it on, but if you want, you can add your own as well. So I'm going to go to the kiwi layer and click on a new layer and click on deselect, because we don't want the selection anymore, right? So I'm going to do that. And now I'll go to black, which is already here. You can choose this as well. And for the brush, I'm going to go ahead, and you can use the watercolor brush, by the way, but I think a different brush will give a much more intensity than the watercolor brush. So we'll go into ink, under picks and brushes, by the way, and in here we'll choose Belgian Comics, a favorite brush of mine. Okay, so this setting is at 72. Let me quickly check. That should be fine. And make sure you draw these seeds on a completely different layer so that it doesn't mess with the watercolor in the background. So all you have to do is just, you know, make some random strokes like this. Okay, once your sketch is ready, you can see how your kiwi fruit looks like. So we're going to do 3 more of them, but I'll just show you how to do it so that it doesn't overlap each other, okay? So now let's go back to the layer below this kiwi layer and click on a new layer. So we're going to have one here. Oops, I need the sketch, right? So go back to this layer here, and now go to your selection tool, and we're going to make sure that we don't select this kiwi at all. So all you have to do is just draw, and in here, make sure you draw it like this so that, oops, it doesn't cover the other kiwi. So once you have that ready, you just have to go to your watercolor brush, the watercolor wash flat, choose the darker green, and I think I'm going to add a bit here, and we're going to add obviously here like that. Let's add a bit more green. We like it, right? And then let's choose this one and color it off. And obviously I'm choosing the lighter one and add a bit of here and here as well, like that, and that should be good. Now go ahead and click on Invert Selection, and let's choose the lighter brown. Oh, change the brush and draw. Oops, make sure you don't draw on that one. I'm gonna make a thin layer here, and we don't have that here. I can add the darker brown, and then go ahead and draw it like this. Once you're done, deselect, and you can see your kiwi is ready as well. And we're gonna add the black dots. Oops, I drew it on this layer. You know what, you can change that. So go to your lasso tool So if you do something like this where you have two things on a single layer and you want to remove one of them, just go to that layer, go to the lasso tool and select the thing that you want to remove like this. Go here, select and click on cut selection. Go to new layer, click paste selection, and now they will be on different layers. And now it creates an empty layer. Click on done and then you have it on a different layer. Okay, so I'll go to the one with the seeds now and quickly draw the seeds. Okay, so we are done with that as well, and now it's only these two left. We're going to use the same technique here as well. So if you're bored, just skip this part. Go ahead and uncheck the sketch and you can see that your kiwis are ready. If you don't want this one, you can actually hide it. Like you can go ahead and click on that and click on uncheck. And for this, you can actually go here, click on your selection tool and you can actually remove this. Click on that and click cut selection, click paste selection and it will paste on a new layer. Click on done. And you can hide that and then you'll have the kiwis and you can write something and go to fountain pen and let's see if that works. Okay, there you go. So your artwork is ready and now it's time to export it. You can click on share, quick export or publish and export as, and you can give anything that you want and export it. So that brings us to the end of this tutorial and I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell if you want to get notified every time I post a new video. By the way, if you want to support me, you can always buy me a coffee at ko-fi.com. You can find the link to do that in the description box below. Okay, I'll see you in the next video then. Bye-bye.